Assalamu alaikum friends. Welcome back to Danish Learning Wala. I am Dr. Danish Ali Mazhar and today we are reviewing one of the most influential TED Talk ever delivered. Do School Kill Creativity by Sir Ken Robinson. This talk has inspired a million of educators, parents, policymakers, students around the world to rethink what education should look like in the 21st century. If you ever wondered why some students excel in exam but struggle to solve real life problems, or why creative children sometimes lose their confidence as they grow older. This talk offers some powerful insight. In today's review, I will summarize Sir Ken Robinson's key idea, share what I agree with, discuss where I think the conversation can be expanded, relate his ideas to today's world artificial intelligence, and finally explore what lesson educators, students, parents can take from his remarkable presentation. So let's begin. Before diving into the talk, let's briefly understand who Sir Ken Robinson was. Sir Ken Robinson was internationally respected author, educator, speaker. He dedicated his life to improve school education system by encouraging creativity, innovation, and personalized learning. His TED Talk delivered in 2006 became one of the most viewed TED Talk in the history. Even almost after 2 decades, people continue discussing his idea because many of the challenges he highlighted still exist today. His central argument is simple yet powerful. Every child is born creative, but our education system often suppresses that creativity instead of developing it. Sir Ken Robinson began with a fascinating observation. He says that every country on earth is trying to reform education because the world is changing rapidly. No one knows what exactly the future will look like. So preparing children simply by teaching them facts is no longer enough. One of the strongest points he makes that children are naturally creative. Young children ask endless questions. They imagine impossible things. They invent stories. They draw without worrying whether their art is perfect. They dance without worrying about making mistakes. But as they grow older, many lose this confidence. Why? Because school often teach students what making mistake is unacceptable. According to Robinson, creativity requires experimentation. If students become afraid of making mistakes, they stop taking creative risks. Eventually, they become adults who avoid innovation because they are fear failure. Eventually, they become adults who avoid innovation because they fear failure. One of the most memorable part of the talk is Robinson's discussion about the hierarchy of subjects. He points out that every education system follow a similar pattern. At the top, mathematics, science, languages. Below these, there come humanities, social sciences, and finally at the bottom are art, music, drama, dance. This hierarchy sends a powerful message to students. It tells them academic subjects are more valuable than creative ones. Robinson questioned this assumption. Why should solving equations be considered more important than composing music? Why painting treated as less valuable than physics? Society needs scientists, but society also needs designer, architect, filmmaker, musician, writer, entrepreneurs, and creative thinker. Progress depends on both analytical and creative imagination. This is my point. I strongly connect with Sir Ken Robinson's message. As an educator with more than 20 years of experience, I have met many brilliant students. Some achieve excellent grades, others struggle with exam but demonstrated extraordinary practical abilities. I have seen students who could repair complex electrical systems, design innovative projects, create impressive presentation, and solve problems creatively. Unfortunately, traditional examination often measure only a limited range of abilities. High marks do not always indicate high creativity. Similarly, average marks do not mean a student lacks talent. Education should help students to discover their strength rather than forcing everyone into the same mold. Every learner is unique. Our education system recognizes and celebrates those differences. Although this TED Talk was delivered long before ChatGPT, generative AI, and advanced automation become parts of everyday life, I believe its message is even more relevant today. Artificial intelligence can now generate essays, it can write computer code, It can summarize research paper, it can translate languages, it can create artwork and videos. If AI can perform routine intellectual tasks, then what becomes uniquely human? The answer is creativity, original thinking, curiosity, empathy, ethical decision making, innovation. The future workforce will not simply reward people who memorize information. Instead, it will reward people who know how to ask better questions, solve unfamiliar problems, collaborate with others, and think creatively. This is exactly the future Sir Ken Robinson envisioned. Rather than composing with AI, rather than competing with AI in memorization, students should learn how to work alongside AI to become even more creative and productive. When I compare Robinson idea with the education system in Pakistan and many other developing countries, I notice several similarities. In my classroom, success is still measured primarily through examination score. Students often memorize textbook rather than understand concept. Teachers face pressure to complete the syllabus. Parents worry about grades more than skill. As a result, creativity sometimes receives less attention than it deserves. However, I also see encouraging changes. Many schools and colleges are introducing robotics, coding, project based learning, STEM education, entrepreneurship program, and AI literacy. Technical and vocational institutions are also placing greater emphasis on practical skills. These developments are helping students become creators rather than passive learners. This is positive direction that should continue. While I agree with most of Robinson idea, I would add one important point. School alone are not responsible for creativity. Parents, society, technology, and even students themselves also play important roles. A school can encourage creativity, but students must also be willing to explore. Parents should support children's interests instead of comparing them constantly with others. Government should design policies. Industries should collaborate with educational institutions to provide real world experiences. Creativity grows best when everyone contributes. After watching this TED talk, I believe there are five major lessons. First, every child has a unique talent. Education should help students discover those talents rather than forcing everyone into identical career paths. Second, making mistakes should not be viewed as failure. Mistakes are often the starting point of innovation. Third, creativity deserves the same respect as academic achievement. Art, music, engineering, technology, and science all contribute to society. Fourth, education should prepare students for an unpredictable future rather than only for examination. Critical thinking, adaptability, and lifelong learning are become essential. Finally, teachers should inspire curiosity instead of simply delivering information. The best teacher encourage students to ask questions, explore ideas, and think independently. Overall, I believe Do School Kill Creativity is one of the most important educational talk ever presented. Even though education has changed since 2006, many of Robinson's observations remain surprisingly accurate. His message challenges us to rethink what success in education truly means. Is it about memorizing information? Or is it about helping young people discover who they are and what they can contribute to the world? In my opinion, education should develop both knowledge and imagination. Students need mathematics and science, but they also need creativity, communication, collaboration, emotional intelligence, and ethical leadership. Especially in the era of artificial intelligence, creativity is no longer just an advantage, it is becoming a necessity. If I were to rate this TED talk, I would give it 10 out of 10. Not because every statement is perfect, but because it starts an important conversation that every educator, parent, policymaker, and student should have. Thank you for watching this review. I would love to hear your opinion. Do you think schools encourage creativity or do they unintentionally limit it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow educators, students, and parents. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.